Hello, I hope all is well. This will be episode one to my podcast, Everything Networks. I'll be the one talking to you. My name is Avery Thomas, and on this episode, we're going to talk about how to troubleshoot the internet. We're going to talk about some commands, or better known as software utilities, that we're going to plug into the command line interface in order to troubleshoot the internet and make connections and check out some problems. So there's a certain command that I'm going to talk about, which will be the first command. This command will be the IP config. Once this command is entered, it will display the IP configuration and the information, and it will show you the IP address for the node that you have entered this command upon. The node is the PC, or the end device that you're using in the command line to check and see with these commands. You can also add a slash behind IP config, and you can add the word all behind the slash, and it will give you a more detailed description of the configuration of the IP address. If you type in IP config slash release, this will cause the node to release the IP address that is currently assigned to it. If you type IP config slash renew, this will renew the IP address, and that will be given to you from the dynamic host configuration protocol. And that's outside of the scope of this episode, but I at least had to talk about it because IP addresses are dynamically assigned to each node through the DHCP. And that protocol helps to sort out a lot of networking issues, and it does it automatically. So those are a few ways that you can use the IP config command in order to check the configuration, and also to release an IP address, and to also renew an IP address through the DHCP. All right, the number two command that I'm going to talk about on this episode that you can enter into the command line interface is the ping command. Once this command is entered, an IP address must be entered behind it from a device in order to send the packet over the network to check connectivity to that device. If it reaches, then it will come back, and the ping command will show you that it reached it. You will get 4 reply messages that shows the connection was made by the reply. Ping will show you how many packets were sent and received and how many were lost, and the approximate round trip in milliseconds that it took for the packet to make it there and back. This is a great utility to use to check a connection to a chosen IP address. The third command that I want to talk about, and I will discuss on this episode, is the netstat command. This command will display all network connections. It will show the IP address of all devices connected to the network using the transmission control protocol. But I won't discuss the transmission control protocol. It's outside of the scope of this too. Of this episode too. I'm only speaking about that because it directly connects to the netstat command, in which that command will show all nodes that are active upon the network and their IP addresses. So this command is good to use to check a network and to see who all is connected on the network. And my fourth command that I'm going to talk about on this episode is going to be the tracer command. And the tracer command is a lot like the ping command because it does check for connectivity, but it goes a little bit deeper, and it shows the path that is taken in order to reach the destination IP address, like the ping command. It will show the IP address of all network connections that are made that are used in order for the packet to get there and to get back. This is a very good command to assess connection problems in a network because it will show you where the packet drops off and why it doesn't reach the destination IP address. And my fifth and final command on this episode that can be entered into the command line interface is the NS lookup. And this command directly queries the name server for information on a destination domain. This shows the IP address for that server and the name for that server. You use the lookup for this as a tool used to gain information about the server that you're looking up. Well, that was my fifth and final command that can be entered into the command line interface. And I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. That'll wrap up all of my commands. I promised you that we would talk about them, and we did. And I hope you learned a lot about these great utilities, or better known as commands, or in other instances, syntaxes. All still mean the same thing when it comes to the command line interface utilities, helping you to understand the network. I'm signing off, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of All Things Network. Light speed, and talk to you soon. Goodbye.